Let me start with a situation that's probably going to feel uncomfortably familiar. 6 years ago, you were earning about $45,000 a year. You were renting a modest place. Maybe it wasn't glamorous, but it worked. Your car had a few scratches, the AC made a weird noise, and you kept telling yourself, once I make more money, life will finally calm down. You remember thinking, if I could just make $75,000, everything would be easier. Bills would stop stressing you out. You wouldn't have to check your bank account before every grocery run. You'd finally feel like an adult who has it together. Fast forward to today. You did what you were supposed to do. You stayed late. You said yes to extra responsibilities. You climbed the ladder. Now you're making $82,000 a year. You upgraded the apartment. You replaced the car. You grab coffee on the way to work instead of making it at home. You order takeout more because you're busy and tired, and honestly, you earned it. And yet, here you are, watching a video about money, feeling the same financial tension you felt years ago, maybe even more, because now the stakes are higher, your lifestyle is more expensive, and deep down, you're already thinking, if I could just hit 6 figures, then I'd finally feel secure. If that sounds like you, you're not bad with money. You're not irresponsible, and you're definitely not lazy. You're just human. I'm Rose. And I've spent years studying how money actually works in real life, not just on spreadsheets, but inside our brains. And today I want to explain why making more money so often fails to make us feel better, and more importantly, how to finally break that cycle. Because what you're experiencing has a name. It's called the hedonic treadmill. And once you see it, you can't unsee it. The hedonic treadmill is one of the most well-documented psychological patterns we know. Researchers began studying it decades ago, and the idea is simple but unsettling. Humans adapt. We adapt to good things. We adapt to bad things. And after a short period, we return to our emotional baseline. That raise that felt life-changing? Normal. That new car that made you feel successful? Just transportation now. That bigger paycheck that was supposed to mean peace? It quickly becomes barely enough. Your brain isn't broken. It's doing exactly what it evolved to do. There's a famous set of studies that looked at people who won large sums of money and people who experienced severe life-altering injuries. Initially, their happiness levels swung dramatically in opposite directions. But over time, most of them drifted back toward roughly the same baseline level of well-being. Think about how wild that is. A lottery winner and an average person end up emotionally closer than you'd expect. Not because money doesn't matter, but because novelty fades. And here's the part most people miss. Your brain runs this same adaptation process on every financial upgrade you make. A new income level feels exciting for a few months. Then it becomes your normal. A lifestyle improvement feels like a reward until it becomes the minimum. Most research suggests that for positive financial changes, adaptation happens shockingly fast, often within 3 to 6 months. That salary you celebrated in January feels ordinary by summer. That apartment you were proud of becomes just where you live. Your brain constantly resets the bar, not because you're greedy, but because your brain is wired to seek improvement, not satisfaction. Now let's talk about income and happiness, because this is where people get confused. Studies consistently show that happiness does increase as income rises, especially when money helps you meet basic needs and reduces stress, but only up to a point. Decades of research point to a threshold where additional income stops meaningfully improving day-to-day well-being. Adjusted for inflation, that range today sits roughly around the high 5 figures to low 6 figures for most people. Beyond that, happiness still increases, but very slowly. Here's what that means in real terms. Going from $45,000 to $90,000 might dramatically improve your quality of life. Going from $90,000 to $180,000? The emotional payoff is much smaller, but the cost is higher. More responsibility, more pressure, more hours, more stress. You're doubling your income while getting a fraction of the emotional return. That's diminishing marginal utility applied to your life. And yet, the message everywhere is the same. Hustle harder, earn more, Upgrade everything. No one tells you that the treadmill speeds up as you run. Now let's bring this down to actual dollars. Imagine you're earning $65,000 a year. After taxes, maybe you take home around $50,000, or about $4,200 a month. Your essentials cost around $2,600. Rent, utilities, food, insurance, transportation. You're not rolling in money, but you have some breathing room. Then you get a raise. You're now earning $90,000. Your take-home pay jumps to about $5,800 a month. But watch what happens next. Rent goes up because you need more space. Your car payment increases because it's safer and more reliable. Your food spending creeps up because you're busy. Subscriptions multiply, clothes improve, convenience spending quietly explodes. Before you realize it, your monthly expenses are sitting around $4,400. You make significantly more money, yet your discretionary income barely changed. In some cases, it actually shrinks. This is lifestyle inflation, and it's the financial expression of the hedonic treadmill. It explains why so many people earning well into six figures still feel financially trapped, because their lives expand to consume whatever income is available. They aren't failing, they're adapting. At this point, people usually ask, so what's the solution? Just stop wanting more? No. The goal isn't to eliminate desire. The goal is to become intentional with it. There's a massive difference between upgrading your life because it aligns with your values and upgrading because it's the default next step. Conscious upgrades feel satisfying. Automatic upgrades feel empty. The treadmill runs on autopilot. Stepping off requires awareness. One of the most powerful ways to do that is by shifting what you spend money on. Research consistently shows that experiences create more lasting happiness than possessions. Trips, learning new skills, shared moments, personal growth. Experiences are harder for your brain to adapt to because they live as memories, not objects. They're social. They become part of your identity. You don't adapt to a story the same way you adapt to a couch. And here's the ironic part. Experiences often cost less than the material upgrades they replace. A weekend trip might cost a few $100s. The vehicle you bought for road trips costs tens of thousands. A class, a hobby, or a skill might cost $100. The lifestyle upgrade you justified instead costs 5 figures. This isn't just psychology, it's bad math. Now let me introduce one final concept that changes everything. It's called the arrival fallacy. The belief that once you arrive somewhere financially, you'll finally be happy. Once you hit 6 figures. Once you pay off the house. Once you reach a certain net worth. The truth is, people are happiest while making progress, not after arrival. Anticipation often creates more joy than achievement. The climb feels better than the summit. That means if you're postponing happiness until you get there, you're missing the only part of life where happiness reliably exists. So what do you actually do with this? Here are 3 practical shifts. First, create a lifestyle rule before your next raise. Decide in advance how much of future income increases are allowed to upgrade your lifestyle and how much automatically goes toward investments. This prevents unconscious inflation and makes upgrades feel intentional. Second, practice gratitude through contrast. Occasionally imagine losing what you already have, not to scare yourself but to break adaptation. Gratitude is one of the only proven antidotes to the treadmill. Third, optimize for time, not money. Every dollar you invest instead of spending is a dollar working to buy back your future hours. Freedom isn't about having more things, it's about needing less income to live well. The treadmill isn't evil, it's ancient wiring in a modern world designed to exploit it. You're not broken for feeling this way, but you do get to choose differently. Enough is a number, not a feeling. Progress matters more than arrival. And real wealth is learning when to step off a race that was never designed to end. If this helped you see money differently, make sure to like and subscribe. Share it with someone you know who recently got a new job or a promotion. I'll see you in the next one.